Meeting of the Lewisburg Area Board of Directors. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Welcome. We begin with you wonderful folks. So I'm sorry that you're standing, but I promise we'll move things along quickly. Just a couple of announcements. Mary Ann Stanton is not able to be with us this evening. She is excused. And we did meet an executive session for 45 minutes prior to the board meeting to discuss a couple of personnel matters. Yes, several personnel matters. And that brings us to one of our very favorite things to do, which is the recognition of our wonderful students, in particular, our state qualified spring sports students. Dr. Ball.
Okay. So we're going to begin with our softball team. Coaches, if you want to come up, and just anything you may want to say about each of the players while we hand them their certificate. Great. Here's your list right there. Oh, okay. All right. I can call one. I'll call one. Okay. Alexis Walter. Carly Wagner. Kimberly Shannon. Jalen Roth Landsman. Kayla Flager. Gracie Murphy. Lucy Mitchell. Olivia Mahon. Madison Lytle, sorry, apologize. Michaela Huff. Lauren Huff. Olivia Hockenbach. Erin Fields. There you go. Riley Dydrup. Ryan Browse. Sydney Belinsky. Whitney Bird. Caitlin Beers. All right, I think we've got everybody who's here. Coach, if there's anything you want to say about the season, the girls.
I just want to say thank you to you ladies. You guys did all you had for since November, being in the weight room, whether it's in the cage or on the field. You guys left it all on the field. I'm super proud of you and congratulations on a great year.
Stuff is boys lacrosse coach, Jacob.
About 7
Okay, do you want to call out who's here?
Yeah,
and then
yep.
I can-
Perfect.
Let's start out down on the end there, Quinn Michaels. Thank you guys. Or however it works. Quinn. Then you're looking there, we'll call freshman Miles Sarah. I should be saying sophomores now that we're getting going into the next school year. So sophomore. Congratulations, well done. And then we'll hit our other sophomore, Hayes Schumacher. And we'll go with junior Ben Bailey. Ben. And then we'll go with senior Mason Facero. And then last but not least, we can say graduate, alum, whatever, Jimmy Bailey. Jimmy. Yeah. First of all, before I talk about lacrosse, I'd like to congratulate all our spring athletes who advanced the state competition, and in particular the girls softball team, who I've had the privilege of coaching them in junior high, at the junior high level and stuff like that. And it was awesome to see the success you guys had. Our boys lacrosse team again this year, able to win district titles, advance to the state tournament. Just a super group of young men when we were able to have on the team this year. We came one game within having a perfect regular season, but that one loss might have been the best thing to happen to us, because we talked about, as we went into the season, we could be our own worst enemy, sometimes with our attitude. And we had a 10-4 lead on Selinsgrove and sort of lost our focus and some of our composure in the way we normally play and end up losing a game. But I think that woke us back up and got us back on track to make another run for a district title. And it was awful fun winning that. But so thank you again. Appreciate the board and Dr. Ball's recognition of our student athletes. It's always nice to be able to come in and celebrate the success that everybody has. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Track and field, I don't know if we've any, I don't think we have any coaches, I don't see. Oh, okay, no, go ahead. Do you wanna-
Boys track.
Yeah, I believe.
I can help with girls.
Sure.
It'll be great.
I definitely like to echo my thanks for the support that we received from the board, from the district, from the teachers. You know, our guys, like a lot of these athletes, miss class every once in a while and are very supported in making sure they're getting things done in the classroom as well as out on the track. Boys track and field, I had an awesome spring season. We went undefeated again in regularly competition, which is a pretty awesome feat. Entered in some pretty big meets. So the invitationals that we did this year were very challenging, and we had a lot of individuals who were placing, you know, with schools across the state and actually within the whole Mid-Atlantic for some of the meets that we were competing at, which is pretty impressive. We were able to take a number of athletes to states, so we can call them up and I'll kind of give you an idea of what they did. We were also Division II PHAC champions, and then obviously District 4 AAA champs, which is pretty awesome. 8 competitors going to states. Jacob Hess in the 1600 and the 3200. He had medal places in both of those at districts, and was very brave and chose to do both at states, which is not, I was a sprinter, so that's like a lot of running. We had Bryce Ryder, also a senior, competing on 4x8 relay. Thomas Hess, competing in the 800. Micah Zook, who is awesome and came to join us from band camp, so we appreciate that, Micah. Participated in the 4x8 relay. Jonathan Hess, also competing in the 4x8 relay. Kieran Murray, also competing in the 4x8 relay. We had Cam Michaels competing in the 100 and the 200. Now we're back to my distances. And then we had Zach Gose competing in the shot put and just missing going for the disc as well, but did really well. A lot of the guys, as you would want, increased with their performances throughout the season. So, I mean, Cam Michaels, like every week, it was like Cam Michaels broke his school record, Cam Michaels broke his school record, right? And same thing with Zach. So really putting in the work that they needed to before we got out on the track and in the circle and in our lanes, et cetera, to do what they needed to do as the season progressed and to continue improving, which is not always easy. A lot of athletes tend to flatline at a certain point, but our guys are pretty strong all the way through. We're going to lose a couple of athletes this year who will miss. We had tremendous leadership for the track program. We have a number of our guys going on to compete at the collegiate level. So Bryce and Jacob and Gose is going to join his brother, which is pretty awesome for Slippery Rock. They're getting a couple of Lewisburg throwing kind of legends here. So we're, again, just really grateful for a good season. For the girls, the sole representation, excellent. But for girls, we had a number of competitors going. We had a 4x8 relay go that consisted of Jenna Binney, Kira, Caroline Blakesley, and Elena Malone. We had a 4x4, which was awesome. Placed second at states, which with a time that normally would be a dub, easy. The second fastest time in school history, which was pretty awesome. And that was a stellar performance by Kira Binney, Caroline Blakesley again, Elena Malone, and Sienna Brazier. We had a couple of top finishers in the state, Elena Malone in the 400 meter dash, placing 6th in the state, and Sienna Brazier in the 100 hurdles, placing 2nd, also with the new school record. And a lot of those girls who I just mentioned in particular, as well as other girls on the team, also just dropping times, increasing distances. We had some young throwers on the girls' side who just kept improving their performances, which is really exciting for the future of the program. So we're really excited, and I know that Mike and the coaches of the girls program are also very grateful for the opportunities that are provided for the athletes on that team too. So do you want to come up and get your certificate? Sorry.
All the names I was putting them down.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Would any of the athletes like to say a word about their seasons or thoughts on your
Find out what
successes?
the softball team is
Especially
wearing.
softball.
Where'd you get those?
What medals do you have? Come on, Kimmy.
Yeah.
Come on, Kimmy.
And then this is our runner-up state.
Awesome. And you guys brought,
there's
yeah,
one.
that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yes, there we go.
Awesome.
Those are
That's
fantastic.
awesome.
Do those end up living on a wall somewhere? What wall do they live on? In the gym?
Out in the
Oh,
hall.
right there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Very cool.
very impressive. Yeah.
Thank you.
Very cool.
Thank you. Great job.
Yeah.
The whole team should come out.
Well, I thank you so much to all of you for being here this evening and for all of your hard work on your seasons throughout the past months. We're just, as a district, very, very proud of you and all the hard work and team spirit that you've put in, and also great thanks to your parents who support you in all that you do, and your coaches, without whom you wouldn't be here. So thanks again for being here this evening, and congratulations on your wonderful successes. All right, that brings us to citizens' comments to the board on agenda items. John, do we have any online comments on agenda items?
We'll take a look here. Nope, no current comments to the board.
And any comments in the room on agenda items? Okay, thank you. Then our first item of business is board action. Old business is the high school baseball field repairs. And that is you, Dr. Fairchild.
Yes, so you have before you the same proposal that we've seen before and that the select committee also reviewed. And so the administration would ask you to favorably consider these repairs this evening to be paid for from the capital projects fund, but this will hopefully we can get it scheduled quickly so that the work can be done, the grass can be reseeded, and we can be up and ready to play in the spring.
Your motion to approve,
So moved.
moved by Mr. Heath. Is there a second? Seconded, is that you? Seconded by Ms. Lyons. Discussion. Roll call vote, please, Paula.
Mrs. Kraus,
Yes.
Ms. Lyons,
Yes.
Dr. Unsicker Fisera,
Yes.
Dr. Zimmerman,
Yes.
Mr. Fetzer,
Yes.
Ms. Haynos,
Yes.
Mr. Heath,
Yes.
Dr. Jablonski.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Next is the 22-23 Penn Literacy Network Professional Development Proposal. Dr. Ball.
Okay, this proposal is here with a variety of professional development activities for our faculty and also our support staff as well. There are the two courses that would get the certificate, the social and emotional certificate that our current teachers are participating in. So that's to finish out the program. Along with that, coaching for them, not just in how they are delivering the instruction to the students, but also leading the professional development efforts at each of the buildings. And another element to this, and this can all be a la carte as well, so we don't necessarily have to have all of this, but we did speak with the teachers and the administrators about a tutoring apprenticeship certificate for our support staff. Oftentimes when there's a student who is experiencing some outburst issues, high escalation, it's the support staff member who's the person who's really taking that student for the walk in the hallway or working with them to get them to a place where they're ready to re-engage in the instruction. So our support staff have been asking CPR, first aid, very important, safe crisis management, very important, but for professional development that is more similar to what our teachers have and helps them develop their skill set in working with the students.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Dr. Jablonski,
Second.
seconded by Dr. Unsicker. Discussion.
Remind me what the credits are, like, is it Act 81? What's the continuing education credits? Do we ever try to make sure that we're spreading the opportunity for those across all the different faculty. You know what I mean?
So they all have an obligation every 5 years to amass continuing education credits and hours to maintain
Right.
their.
And
their
these would count for
positions.
that, right?
They would count, this would count for that easily, as would any college coursework or conferences and workshops and so forth. And that's a responsibility with their own individual certification to maintain that level of ongoing. This is certainly a great opportunity. I'm
Oh, yeah, yeah,
excited about the piece for the Paris. I think
And
that will be
support staff have to get 20 hours a
Hours.
year as well too. Otherwise, they're not eligible to work in their position. So they would also, in participating with this, fulfill those 20 hours.
I'd just like to say, I think, we've been talking for a long time about the importance of social emotional pieces, and it's very exciting to see something material in front of us that will help a lot in that area.
Yes. I think no matter what, maybe I should phrase it as, we should always be offering such opportunities as a responsibility to our staff to make, yeah, okay. So I'm happy to see this as the opportunity, one of.
Any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please, Paul.
Ms. Lyons,
Yes.
Dr. Unsicker Fisera,
Yes.
Dr. Zimmerman,
Yes.
Mr. Fetzer,
Yes.
Ms. Haynos,
Yes.
Mr. Heath,
Yes.
Dr. Jablonski,
Yes.
Mrs. Kraus.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Moving on to new business, we have the 22-23 communication facilitator agreement. Dr. Ball.
Okay, and this is a contract with this employee who functions as a communication facilitator for one of our students with deafness. So she does sign language interpretation. Rather than have the positions a non-union support staff position, this is a special contract with that individual, understanding that while that student is here, that person would have employment and certainly compensation that reflects the level of service that she provides to the student in the district.
So moved.
Moved by Dr. Jablonski, second.
Second.
Seconded by Mrs. Kraus. Any discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please, Paula.
Dr. Unsicker Fisera,
Yes.
Dr. Zimmerman,
Yes.
Mr. Fetzer,
Yes.
Ms. Haynos,
Yes.
Mr. Heath,
Yes.
Dr. Jablonski,
Yes.
Mrs. Kraus,
Yes.
Ms. Lyons.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. And that brings us to the insurance carriers for the 22-23 year. Dr. Fairchild.
Okay, yes, so it's that time of year again where we get to renew our insurance on July 1. We are joined by Mr. Martin Brown, our insurance agent. He's here to answer any questions that the board might have. So as you can see, currently we are with CM Regent. And we received proposals from Liberty Mutual, Utica, and CM Region as well. The folks at Wright Specialty declined to quote this year. Our coverages are up. Our value of our buildings has increased about $8 million over last year, thanks to the costs of materials rising. And Liberty Mutual has really made an effort to match the coverages of CM Region. So going into this, really, Liberty Mutual and CM Region are our two greatest competitors, if you will. But as you saw on the, and one of the interesting things is now Liberty Mutual does offer earth movement coverage. Previously, it was just an earthquake. Now it's an actual earth movement of any kind, which is what CM Region has been offering for many years and which helped us out with the old Kelly Pyritic Shale issue a few years ago. So they are doing their best to make a play here. And the only real difference is the triggering for the violent expense coverage, which you saw the notes for the board there. So when it comes down to it, it's really the board's decision as to which way you want to go. Both Liberty Mutual and CM Region are very competitive. I would be honest in speaking with Mr. Brown, it's one of those, which way does the needle move? Our inclination is to stick with CM Region. We've had very good coverage and very good response with them. But again, it's up to the board this evening. So that's our recommendation there. And then in terms of student accident insurance, we've been with American Access for the last few years. And both AG administrators and American Access brought down their premiums this year for their student accident insurance. Last year it was $8,000. Now both are coming in at $6,800. The coverage is exactly the same, and it's really flip a coin kind of situation. I mean, you can stick with the incumbent or switch to a new one. From a paperwork perspective or from a coverage perspective, it's all the same. So that's where we are with that. Open it up for somebody to make a motion and we can have a discussion.
So we need a motion for one of the, right, to
Yes,
select
and
one
we'll
of them, and then we
select one
can
of,
discuss.
Yep, one of the general liability
Mhm.
carriers and one of the student accident carriers.
Motion to stay with CM Regent.
Okay,
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Ms. Hayno, seconded by Dr. Unzicor-Fisero. Discussion. So I guess we're pulling apart those two questions for right now.
That's
We'll just
fine.
talk about the insurance carrier first, and then we'll move on to the student accident insurance. Any discussion?
It's so morbid, just, but like, the thing that stands out to me as the biggest difference is what's covered on the bottom line there.
yeah. Well, and one other positive, the umbrella coverage, which is the overarching extra coverage, if you will, for each line of insurance. CM Regent offers that umbrella for each type of insurance. So if you have a claim in two separate areas, if you will, you would actually have 10 million per line of coverage,
I
so a
see.
total of 20 million. Whereas Liberty Mutual's $10 million umbrella is just 10 million over the whole thing. So even if you had two claims under two different lines, you would still only have the 10 million of coverage.
Thank you for that note.
So,
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
good with CM Regent, yeah.
What is, just for curiosity, pollution limit?
I think that's if we happen to somehow pollute something around our property, maybe something happens to one of our wetlands or something. that
Refrigerants.
we're- Yeah.
That is correct. Pollution can be, actually, I was dealing with a claim earlier today where I had hydraulic hose busted on a piece of equipment, spraying oil and other, basically liquids from the machine. This is at a home, all over a driveway, plants, somebody's yard, and so on. By definition, that's going to be a pollution coverage.
I see.
So any time we have something where, again, it's some type of quote unquote pollutant, it can be liquid, it can be gas, anything that disperses into the air and so on. That's the pollution,
Okay, thank you.
sure.
Any other questions or further discussion of that piece? I'm not sure procedurally, then can we vote
yeah,
on that? And then
absolutely,
move
yeah,
on
I
to the
mean,
second question?
yeah.
Okay. Okay, so then we have a motion and a second on the sticking with CM Regent. So we'll vote on that and then we'll move on to the second question. So roll call vote on that, please, Paula.
Dr. Zimmerman,
Yes.
Mr. Fetzer,
Yes.
Ms. Haynos,
Yes.
Mr. Keith,
Yes.
Dr. Jablonski,
Yes.
Mrs. Kraus,
Yes.
Ms. Lyons,
Yes.
Dr. Unzicor-Fisero.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Okay, and then do we have a motion regarding the student accident insurance?
Motion to stay with American Access for student accident insurance.
Moved by Dr. Jablonski. Is there a second? Second. Seconded by Dr. Unzicor-Fisero. Discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please, Paula.
Mr. Fetzer,
Yes.
Ms. Haynos,
Yes.
Mr. Heath,
Yes.
Dr. Jablonski.
Yes.
Mrs. Kraus,
Yes.
Ms. Lyons,
Yes.
Dr. Unzicor-Fisero,
Yes.
Dr. Zimmerman.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, thank you. And thank you very much for being with us this evening.
You're very welcome.
Appreciate it.
Again, John's great to work with, but if anybody from the board have questions, certainly I'm available.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Our next item then is the budget transfers, which also takes us to you, Dr. Thornton.
Okay, yes, so you have listed before you the third quarter budget transfers up through last Friday when we went live. So I would ask you to approve those this evening and then also empower me to make any transfers necessary as we close out the 21-22 fiscal year, which will then be brought to you later on for review at a later date.
So moved.
Second. Moved by Dr. Jablonski, seconded by Ms. Lyons. Any discussion?
Why is most of this the middle school?
They were basically taking leftovers in other accounts and sweeping it into their curriculum account so they could purchase textbooks for next year.
There's new math, there's new ELA, there's new science. And as
Lots
a
going on in middle
result,
school.
that's
Yes,
where
lots
the
of new
bulk-
Sounds like-
curriculum.
That's
Did I
where the
miss
bulk of
something
it is. Yeah.
I mean, I knew that was going on, but
This is where we look under the couch cushions for the quarters and we sweep them all together
I know some of these are like $2.
Uh-huh.
all
No
day, every
one-
day.
No one can accuse us of not being careful.
Yeah.
Any further discussion or questions? Okay, roll call vote then, Paula, please.
Ms. Haynos,
Yes.
Mr. Heath,
Yes.
Dr. Jablonski,
Yes.
Mrs. Kraus,
Yes.
Ms. Lyons,
Yes.
Dr. Unsicker Fisera,
Yes.
Dr. Zimmerman,
Yes,
Mr. Fetzer,
Yes.
motion carried.
thank you. That moves us along to new business, and the first item is the website for the middle school program. Dr. Ball.
So on the middle school website, there is a page now with the middle school program. John, if you wanted to click that up there, there's a hyperlink in board docs to be able to see it. Explain the daily schedule, how that works, what a typical 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade student schedule would look like. Dragon Hollow, which is there, the core courses, call out that there's dedicated STEM and mathematics, and also research and language arts within the ELA block. Both math and ELA are double blocked in 6th and 7th grade. In 8th grade, one of the blocks of ELA then becomes world language for the students. And get into a little bit of a descriptor with the core related arts courses that are offered, and also ensembles. You'll see there's a chart there that has appeared before with the presentation of the board to show how, if students are in band, orchestra, and chorus, all 3 or 2, how the music teachers have looked at how they can ensure that the students can be in all of those ensembles, and through their collaboration, not present anything new if there are students that we missing because they're in another ensemble. And then just a little bit about our gifted education, special education, English language learners, and a highlight of what the program changes are. So this is live for everybody to see.
Any questions or comments? I'd just like to thank you. There've been a lot of, I think we've been very transparent and invited people into this process as it has been happening, which has led to a lot of questions. And so I'm sure members of the community are grateful to have this there. And I am grateful to you for taking the time to put that there so that everybody can see what's what. Okay, then the next item of new business is the 22-23 organizational chart.
With the position, the director of athletics and select student services, it's important to place that person on the organizational chart. This is very much the org chart that we currently have, with just some lines split out to differentiate the difference in responsibility of supervision of the athletic staff, and then also the special education and student services. And you'll see there as well too, that we have the supervisor of transportation and food service, keeping in mind that our transportation is contracted. So that's why there isn't anybody with line authority there, but certainly have food services.
Any questions for Dr. Bont on the organizational chart? Okay, great. Thank you very much. And that brings us to the AFSCME memorandum of agreement.
Would ask to have that tabled at this time.
We need to vote to table that.
Motion to table.
Second. Moved by Dr. Jablonski, seconded by Ms. Haynos. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's tabled and we'll come back at a future meeting. Then that brings us to the board president's report. I know that a lot of you expressed your gratitude to Dr. Vaught the last meeting, and I was not able to be here. So I would just like to take the time tonight to say that it's been a pleasure to serve with you for the years that you've been with us. And I remain very sad that you're leaving. And of course, wish you all the best as you transition to your new home in Colorado. And just very grateful for your leadership throughout the very difficult time of the pandemic. And despite the very difficult time of the pandemic, also really doing some really wonderful work, launching some wonderful initiatives, really getting some great things going that we as a board with Mrs. Moser's able leadership are very excited to continue. So I just thank you so very much for your service here and wish you the very best. And I also am very grateful to Mrs. Moser. So we will just seamlessly transition in our next meeting. She will be here and we'll just keep right on as we have been going with all the good work that's happening now in the district. And that brings us to the Assistant Superintendent's report, Mrs. Moser.
Thank you. You will think, Virginia, that you and I had the same thought tonight. I'll ask that you read the written report I shared with you, but I wanted to use my 2 minutes tonight as well, Jen, to just express abundant thanks, sincere appreciation, gratitude, and best wishes to you. Virginia, it sounds a little bit like a repeat, but I jotted 3 things down. You came in and helped us navigate the tough, the unknown, the confounding aspects of a pandemic, school closures, quarantining, and social distancing, and to think that that's where all of our efforts had to be in your very first months with us, getting us back to our routines and our everyday world of teaching and learning that we value so much. I also appreciate that you prodded us a bit to really look at some automation and making some things some more streamlined and more efficient. And I know we'll best benefit from that as we continue. And then as Dr. Zimmerman mentioned, you started us forward in a number of important areas. Policies, yes, but also beginning to look at everything through an equity framework is so very valuable to us. Curricular areas, professional development, so many things. Thank you for allowing me to learn and to grow by working beside you these last 2 years. And I too just wish you the very best.
Thanks, Kathy. Do we have any board liaison or committee reports tonight?
Sun met last week. I would just highlight, you all have the meeting minutes in front of you. I would just highlight the bullet point that we hired David Bacher as the administrative director. So that was the exciting news, as everything else was also exciting.
Thanks, Jordan. Anybody else? Okay, and that brings us to the consent agenda with the revised personnel report. Is there any item anyone would like to have held out and voted upon separately? And then I will take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Moved by Dr. Jablonski. Seconded by Dr. Unser-Professero. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please, Paula.
Mr. Heath,
Yes.
Dr. Jablonski,
Yes.
Mrs. Kraus.
Yes.
Ms. Lyons,
Yes.
Dr. Unser-Professero,
Yes.
Dr. Zimmerman,
Yes, except for the minutes of the last meeting as I was not there.
Mr. Fetzer,
Yes.
Ms. Haynos,
Yes, also with the exception of the minutes.
motion carried.
Mine should also include the exception of the minutes. I was also-
Okay, and that brings us to director's comments. I'll start on this side.
Okay. Congratulations one more time to all of our spring sports athletes. It's always amazing to see what they achieve. I just want to kind of highlight that I think this agreement with the Penn Literacy Network is a big step forward. Again, pointing out that a lot of times, as it was, Dr. Baum mentioned, a lot of times the support staff are kind of the ones down in the trenches with exactly what's going on with the student. And while everything they do is kind of advised by a teacher, to be able to provide them with the hands-on, first person knowledge of how to intervene when it's needed is a huge help to them. and even more so to the student. So I think that is great that we are doing that.
Congratulations to all the kids that were still here and now almost July. But the softball team, I mean, to know where they started, what, 10 years ago and where they've come, it's huge. So that, and they're all great girls. So kudos to them and the other athletes. I just want to reiterate the middle school schedule. I know that it was, you know, very contentious sometimes maybe with the discussions, but we as a board, I think, really worked together to listen. And I appreciate the administration listening and working to make those changes so that there's never everyone happy completely, but at the same time, I think if people look at that online, you're going to see how much time and effort and thought process went into it. And as we know, nothing's set in stone. So if we need to make changes, we can. But at the same time, I think it's awesome for the forward thinking, and I'm so excited for that. Like to thank Jen again. I won't roll on, but we're going to miss you. And I just want to say shout out to FBLA Nationals is next week in Chicago, and I have the opportunity to go with it. Two other parents are technically going, but there's 5 boys, all boys going. My 2 sons, Nick Mahoney, Alfred Romano, and Andrew Nichols. And so thoughts for safe travels are appreciated. My kids are really excited about seeing Chicago. I'm maybe not quite as excited, but we're excited, and I'll bring back more information on that, and I'll have lots of cool stuff to maybe share.
Great, thank you. Ms. Mines? Also not being at the last meeting, I just want to thank Dr. Ball for all she's done. I think quintessentially you are like speak softly and carry a big stick is what kind of I think of with you. I will say it was pretty cynical and not easily won over when you started. And I think that you've done a really great job and done really good things for the district. So you'll definitely be missed. That's all I have.
Thanks.
Jen, thank you for everything. Kathy, I think we're up to 3 trips now that we're going to be taking, right? So just a little humor there, but you know, in all sincerity, thank you both, Jen, for what you've done, and Kathy for what you've done and what you'll continue to do. So.
Thanks, Jen.
Very proud and pleased to see all of the spring athletes here. It's really great in the middle of the summer to see so many of them here and to hear well, the coaches' sentiments. That was very nice. I agree with Kristen about the support staff training. I used to be support staff and no specialized training was ever offered, and I really would have appreciated that. And to Jen, thank you so very much. I remember as I was getting ready to send my junior into high school during the pandemic, just hearing your calming and collected and composed voice over the Zoom school board meeting really made me feel like this person knows what she's doing, and the board too at the time, really hats off, put my mind at ease, and I really felt like people were going to be as safe as they could possibly be coming back to school. So I'm grateful for that, and also the opportunity to work with you directly. And I'm sorry it's only been 5 months or so. I would have loved to have worked with you more because I learned a lot, but I'm excited about Colorado. So best of luck.
Yeah, I would echo all the same things. It's always great to see our athletes and to hear other things that are happening even beyond the school year. I'm excited. I think that anytime we can put something on a website that is very clear and very like, here it is for everyone to see and transparent, that is fantastic. So thank you for doing everything you did to get us into the 21st century, no matter how hard it was to drag us there. And I think some huge changes that we've made in our technology staffing that has made some of this even more possible. But I'm really excited for that. I mean, so because everyone knows I've been talking about it and you did it. So like that's a huge. You know, every year at the end of the year, you think about the people that you're sad to see go. And I was like already sad about Jen, and now I'm super sad about Mrs. Lutzy too. And that's the cycle though. That's how things go. And so I wish you very well. I think it's fantastic. It sounds like an amazing opportunity. So you pushed us forward in a time when most people were just trying to hold steady. That's pretty remarkable.
Thanks, sir. Corey?
I don't have much to add to what I've already said either in the last meeting or on the phone since then. So that's it. Good luck.
John or all of them? Okay, I'll just add a welcome to the 2 new teachers who are on the revised personnel report for this evening. You know, it's nice, we're looking backwards, but it's also nice to look forwards and think about all the great things that are going to happen in these buildings come August. And so welcome to Mr. Oliver and Mr. Fortuna. And with that, we will turn to citizens' comments to the board on non-agenda items, if there are any.
Hi, everybody. Paul, I'm Matt Parent, District President, representing Standard Journal this evening. This is for print. I want to thank the board for indulging me here for a moment. I was in the hall getting photos of the teams when you passed the baseball field thing. And unfortunately, tonight, I'm not going to have access to your board docs info or your promptly posted video of this meeting. So, John, tell me, what did the board pass and how much did it cost and who was this with?
Well, they passed the proposal for Hummer turfgrass systems, and let's talk afterwards. I can show you the item that was voted on.
Okay, right, I'll get the exact amount. I wonder exactly the order. So
Absolutely.
now, from the board, any comment about this? Because this is kind of gone into extra innings here. Maybe it's sort of a rags to riches to rags story. I don't know. We've heard about this many times. Any thoughts? Acknowledgements, thanks, whatever.
I think no matter what, we want to honor the Cram family. Like that's, I think, what has driven a lot of us continuing to try to make everything work. So besides this baseball team and everything like that, I think they put in a huge effort, and the Green Dragon Foundation put in a huge effort. And so
We just need to make it right.
yes.
It seemed like there was a great deal of emotional weight from the start of this project. Played some of that. I don't know. Too much. Other than that, I was trying to get a very nice shot of your marching band practicing tonight. Turn around the corner before I look forward to seeing them and all of you Saturday at the Union County Veterans 4th of July parade. So please be there. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks. Anything online?
No comments online.
Okay, then I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
A second.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Jablonski, seconded by Ms. Lyons. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.